Alrighty, let's get things started off for the week here. For this week, we have a lot of news coming up. We have nothing for Sunday, but Monday, market open. We have high impact news for GBP, pre-London open. We have core consumer price index at New York open on Tuesday. We have CPI, New York open on Tuesday. It's going to be a very volatile day. Later that evening, we have high impact news, industrial production for the Chinese yuan. Wednesday, core producer price index, another high impact news event for the US dollar, pre-New York session, 5:30 a.m. Can cause a lot of volatility Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, USD unemployment claims along with GBP retail sales later that evening during London session. Thursday, also going to be very volatile and heavy volume. Lastly, on Friday, we have European Central Bank President Lagarde speaking during London open, 30 minutes into the London session. This week's going to be a volatile week, heavy volume week. It's going to be a great trading week. This looks like it's going to be ideal market conditions for most of the week here. We can check daily effects, see if there's any other news that is not covered on my Forex Factory that we missed. Yeah, we have a Fed Cook speech on New York session, pre-New York session this morning, or Monday morning, tomorrow for me. High impact news for GBP, unemployment rates, employment changes, pre-London open at 11 p.m. on Monday evening. Then we can see GDP growth rate for the euro on Tuesday, London open. As you can see, there's a few other major economic news events that weren't shown on Forex Factory. But we have a lot of high impact news for both Great British Pound as well as the US dollar. So stay attentive and aware of the high impact news during London and New York session this week. Alright, so first things first, we're going to dive into our normal pairs, NASDAQ and gold, and then we're going to cover some cryptocurrency pairs, the analysis on that, and the overall market outlook for cryptocurrencies themselves. We are currently transitioning into a bull market, and we can see lots of altcoins popping off here, along with Bitcoin gaining strength. In June, I had given buy signals to start accumulating certain altcoins. Now, most of these have profited very nicely and moved over 100%, which we will get into here later in this Zoom call. Now, before we get there, let's start with the NASDAQ. So last week on the NASDAQ 100, the weekly analysis had stated that we may see 15500, which we currently are. That is where price closed to end the week last week. However, early in the week, when I was looking at this particular pair, there was an area where I was thinking price could go down, but it ultimately found support, held, and continued on its way right around this point here. Price made support, continued higher, and did not stop. Continued to break above this previous week's high here and continued higher all the way up to 15500. Broke this high, broke the previous month's high, and made a new high for the month so far. So it looks like on NASDAQ we still have a lot of room to go. We switch to the monthly time frame on the right hand side. You can see a strong bullish candle, completely outdoing almost the last 2 months of price action. When we drop down to the weekly time frame, we can see that we broke above this major area of supply and resistance and closed as a strong bullish candle on the weekly time frame. On the right hand side, when we go down to the 12-hour time frame, we can see strong bullish volume, higher low point in this area of this area of demand / support, made a new high, broke the previous month high, and continued higher. So now, what can we see here in terms of our next move? Well, we may have a pullback based on how far price extended here. There may be some type of higher low point that needs to happen. Come back and retest the previous month high. That'd be an easy one, easy retest area. As you can see on the right hand side with the weekly time frame, that would be just a wick on the higher time frame, and on the lower time frame would create some structure and liquidity on the 4-hour intraday time frame, as you can see how it normally typically does. But on the right hand side, this is what I'm seeing for the overall week. A slight pullback, might tap into the previous resistance, now turned possible support, and may see a further extension up to 15800 price range, and potentially up to the all-time high to close the year at 16400. We have a long way off from that, but it is in the cards, especially if price continues to move bullish as it is. So next, let's go to gold. Gold had a major retracement last week, and this is what I was seeing. We had a major run up. Price continued to push bullish all the way up to right at 2,000, just above the 2,000 price point, and reversed. I don't believe this is the end for gold here, as there's still a lot for it to potentially do. We'd see on the monthly time frame that previous month was a strong bullish candle. This month we are bearish, but where price is retracing to, where it's pulling back to, it's coming into these areas of support as well as demand and previous structure. On the monthly time frame, we can see these areas of interest here where price is currently reacting from. That's if we go down to the weekly time frame for a little more detail. Yes, we do see obviously it's bearish, but we need some type of structure, higher low point to form in the current price range, and potentially a little bit lower at 1915, but we really wanted to hold this area, as this would be our confirmation for a bullish market to continue. Now this could be the end of the run for gold, as we really had a strong bullish movement in a very short amount of time these past couple weeks due to global economic pressures and the conflict in Israel. So when we look at gold, when you consider that as well as the key areas that price is currently at. So 1940, I know it's below 1940 right now, it's at 1938, but 1940 is a key area where price currently is. We may see, and this is just based off of the lower time frame here in the 1 hour time frame, we may see another strong rally as such, maybe something like this to start the week. This is a good trade setup, but we may see something like this, and in order for price to continue bullish and change the current direction that's going from this bearish trend to a bullish trend, we need to first see some type of initial bullish movement, some type of retest without this low getting completely broken. If it gets swept, that's a different story, but we really want to see it stay intact, have some type of higher low point, and a continuation up to here. Now let's remove this because this is no longer accurate. This is now our previous week's low. What else can we adjust here? This technical area here. It's our current area of supply and resistance at 1960, 1965 price range. That's our first area of interest. First, we need to break above 1955. If we get a move above 1955, 1960, 1965 is our first area we're looking at here. If we want to see a strong move into that, a pullback and a retest on the 1955-1950 region. If we get that, then I believe price is going to continue extending up to possibly the monthly high. But that is all I see for gold here. I do see prices potentially coming higher, but we still may have some room to go down to 1915 price range. Keep you all updated in the Telegram throughout the week and see how price unfolds for gold here. But still bullish on it on the higher time frame, but price is not lined up for that quite yet on the lower time frame. Next, let's go to the Nasdaq. I'm sorry, we were just at the Nasdaq. We were already at the Nasdaq. Let's go to the cryptocurrency pairs now. First, let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is king, and we're going to take a look and see what she's doing. Alright, so this is a previous markup that I have been showing the last few weeks during our Zoom calls. So we can see that price is just looking to fill the space here up to 40,000 and up to potentially the 47,000 price range, where this area of supply is and area of resistance is. You can see that price broke resistance around the 30K point, $30,000 point, and has since rallied much higher. Now this is the monthly time frame. You can see that last month closed very strong bullish. We can see this month is already kind of pushing bullish. It's still early on, but we're seeing good bullish price movement. Now when we go to the weekly time frame here, we can see that resistance has been broken and prices continued much higher here. Now what we are expecting? We are kind of expecting a pullback like this. I am seeing one more pullback before the real bull run starts. Could give investors and people like me another chance to accumulate at a lower price before things really get going here. Now it may not happen, and we may not get a pullback, and price just may continue to make higher highs and higher lows and just keep on going. It wouldn't be the first time that I've seen that. This would be my overall third market cycle for the cryptocurrency market since I started back in November 2017. So wow, this is actually coming up on 6 years of trading for me this month. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, so now when we look at this though, you can see price extended, might have a pullback down to the 25k 27k price range. That'd be very, very ideal. Swoop it up on the low and catch the next bull run essentially. Now price is, once we get to that 47,000 point, we may see a rejection. We would like to see a strong parabolic move through up to 50,000 and then continue its way up to its all-time high at 67 and break that and move up to the 180k 100k region as we have been anticipating. Now I don't really invest or trade Bitcoin, so this chart is just purely for an overall market perspective, but we'll get more to the nitty-gritty on some of the projects we're actually investing in here. But overall, Bitcoin is bullish, may have a pullback down to 25k towards the end of the year or the start of next year. Yeah, we may close the year very strong bullish and then have a pullback, and then she takes off. Alright, first we'll go with a coin we haven't talked about yet on here is B.A.T, Basic Attention Token. If you're unfamiliar what Basic Attention Token is, it essentially is Brave Browser's native token. So if you use Brave Browser as your main internet browser, which I currently do, this project itself is very solid. It has a working product that thousands of people currently use. In addition to that, they have a very undervalued token price. As you can see at its all-time high, our Basic Attention Token was $1.90 according to Coinbase. I think we can find a chart with more data though. So let's go to, I don't really like this one either. Let's go to an exchange that's been around a little bit longer that has this listed. I think Bittrex had it. Yep, Bittrex is good. Okay. You can see at its all-time high was around $2, $1.90 on the previous chart, but around the $2 price range. Currently, it's 24 cents. Now, although we have a long way from the all-time high, based on its current price, we're heavily undervalued here, especially for a project that has a working live product that is already being currently used, especially by people like me. I highly recommend using the Brave browser. It stops ad tracking and speeds things up as you don't have a lot of ad trackers tracking your location and slowing down your browsing performance. I highly recommend it. It's got a cool little lion logo. But aside from that, when we look further at Basic Attention Token, we see that major level at the 11 cent, 10 cent price range. We see that the lowest point this year was at 8 cents and a tenth, 0.081. So now when we put things into perspective here, just targeting this area of supply, we're looking at a 200 to 250% return on investment from this current price point up to this first area of supply here. And if you want to be modest, you can target this little area at around 75 cents, but it's a 215% return on investment still from the current price point at 24 cents. This is a very good, very good crypto project to be investing in, highly undervalued, and as you can see, it's a very good return on investment just at the first target. We have a short-term level of resistance here at the 28 cent, 38 cent point. I don't believe that will hold long, as this is an area of accumulation and looks like price is about to break out and blow past that point. Next, we need to be looking at $1.50. The $1.50 price range is very important. As you can see, we've had a lot of activity from this area. The first lower high point right here, which is our next target we're looking at. We have dropped down to the weekly time frame to get some additional details, and as you can see, we have our first area here, clear as day, at the 80 to 90 cent price range. Beyond that, $1.50, $1.40, $1.50, and then we have our all-time high at $2. I'm going to make this level here at an area of supply, and here we are. We now have our chart completely broken down with key areas to be looking at. Now, to find the overall yearly projection, well, not yearly projection, overall projection for this asset over its lifetime, or based on the higher time frame where prices may go, we have to measure them as such. So you can use the Fibonacci tool purely for the Fibonacci projections. Okay, as you can see, back in 2021, we had price continue and hit the negative 27% projection level. Alright, so that's fantastic. It means that it played out fully. So now, we're doing this again. So this is the major low point to the major high point. Swing low to swing high. When we look at the overall projection now, $2.60 as well as $3.27. So $3.25. These are our next areas we're looking at for the upcoming bull market. Here as well as here, both of these areas may potentially get hit, and the overall return on investment just from current prices up to our first area, 250%. We hit our next target at $1.40, $1.50. That's 470% just at $1.40. If prices continue up to the all-time high, that's a 750% return on investment, a 7.5x. And if we are if we are so lucky, we'd be very grateful to see a $2.60 price, which is a 10x return on investment from the current price, or even beyond that at $3.25, which is a 12.5x return on investment, 1,250%. Now, I know these numbers seem very high and almost unrealistic, but they're not, because they have already happened in the past. If you look at the first move back in 2020, you can see a 10x return on investment. Similarly, with this previous bull market that we had, you can see that from this low point at 46 cents up to the high at $2.08. $2.09 was a 341% return on investment from the higher low point. So now, when we look at those numbers and look at the overall chart and create similar candles as the previous price action, we can see that it doesn't seem too unrealistic. So this here captures the movement from this swing low to the swing high. If we were to bring this over to right here, wow, it doesn't seem so unrealistic now, does it? It looks like it should fit in there. This is exactly what we're expecting. It's just going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a month. It might, but it won't. I don't believe so. As you can see, it's taken some serious time to get these parabolic moves built up. But I do see that price is going to further extend, at least to the previous all-time high. It's just literally repeating itself, price repeating itself, and it happens over and over. So basic attention token. Highly recommend, do your own research on it, but a very solid underpriced project to be accumulating currently. Next, we're going to go to Icon. Icon here has rallied these last couple days all the way up to 32 cents. We can see that from the point I initially started to say to start buying, the initial buy signal was around 18 to 20 cents here. From this point to this point, let me clear off some of these arrows, as they're a little old. So, first buying point, we'll highlight here. It's been in this range to this range. I'm going to change this to green. Can we see that? Okay, yeah, we can see. The initial point I said to start buying was in this area here back in June. But this price point, 18 cents to 20 cents, we could see price hit the 2022 low to retest it one last time at around 14.5 cents, and then from there created the bottom and continued higher. We can see that prices moved from the start of the month up until now a total of 60%, and as of this recording 40%. So price has moved massively just this month alone, and from our initial buying point 85% as of yesterday, and as of current around 60%. So price is just starting out, although it's moved a lot. If we zoom out to the overall perspective on the monthly time frame, we can see that things literally are just starting. We're at the bottom. It's not too late to be buying it by any means. Although it's moved quite a bit and you'd already be up a good amount on your investment, there's still time. So now when we take that monthly perspective into this current area that we are at, first we're going to draw our same thing, our candlestick box, so we can replicate what price may do in the future. This is back in 2021, the previous bull market rally, and if we literally just apply the same price movement, same volume, same size of candles from the current price point, we get a potential target of $3.20 up to, $3.20, between $2.80 up to $3.20 at the 2021 high, and potentially even higher. If that area breaks, we may see $5. Now this first initial movement is quite a big movement. We're nearly 10x at that point. So it would take a lot more to sustain to break that and to go up to the $5 area, which we really could. It wouldn't be the first time. It happened back in 2017, 2018, back here. You can see that it did clear as day for a 43x, 4,300% return on investment. So now if we replicate this price movement over here, which is not unrealistic because it did happen before, but if we apply the same type of thing, if we get a very strong bull market once again with unprecedented volume like we did at that period of time back in 2017, 2018, this kind of earlier days, and that's when I first got into crypto and trading and investing as a whole. But we see that here, that takes our potential investment from a 10x to a 48x if we go to the previous all-time high. Now, those are quite major expectations and quite large numbers, large return on investments. So the probability is a lot lower, and the amount of time it would take for that to play out is a lot longer. But we can see in the shorter term, and what has a higher probability of happening is this $2.80, $3.20 price movement. Price is at a very low point still, and we can still accumulate this coin. I still have been, but there's still time to get a bag full of this and potentially ride this up for nearly 10x and potentially higher down the road, especially if Icon continues to make developments. What Icon essentially is it's similar to Chainlink. what Icon does is provide a template that allows coins to easily swap with one another or easily trade with one another. With different blockchains, it's very hard for them to communicate or to do cross-chain transactions, essentially. What Icon does is eliminate that initial roadblock of a cross-chain transaction. It allows different blockchains to operate with each other seamlessly, very easily. There's already other projects doing that type of technology, however, they're not doing it like Icon is. Icon has a template that is very easy to use, that literally can be applied to all blockchains from what I read. Other companies don't have the same feasibility and ease of use, a plug-and-play type of template. That's a lot more work. So for Icon to be able to offer some type of cross-chain communications that integrate seamlessly is huge. And in addition to that, they have quite a large foundation, still have a heavily traded volume, and they're ranked around the top 140 on the crypto market cap. So this isn't the strongest project, however, it is stronger than most. I've been watching this coin since 2017 during its initial ICO, and it's still around. It's still being worked on. It's still a solid project. Now, I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket on this, but I definitely think having a bag of Icon is very wise. It's one of the strongest South Korean cryptocurrency projects that are in existence to date. They've been around for a while, and I still see them going to be around. And back in 2021, they had a large bullish move that no one talked about. Back in 2021, it 10x from 30 cents all the way up to $3.20, but no one talked about it because no one knew, because it's not a hype coin. It's not talked about by the media. It's a good, solid project. You just have to do your research on it. Lastly, as you all know and should be familiar with, we're going to be looking at XRP, and we have been accumulating XRP. Actually, I lied. This isn't the last one. We're going over crypto.com after this, previously known as Monaco. But first, XRP. I love this chart so much. Heavily undervalued asset. Been undervalued for quite some time. We can see that price has been gaining some momentum, just as all the other crypto coins are, based off the volume and price action, and the market looking like the bull market is going to be upon us soon. So when we look at XRP, though, we have accumulation, push, pullback, some type of accumulation, and then another push. So it's still not too late to be buying XRP. However, when we look at the chart, things are starting to pick up. Things are really starting to pick up. You're gonna have to start being aggressive when picking up this coin. Where you can see that we're in a good price point currently. We can see that a higher low is made off of this 45-cent price range. For the last few weeks during these Zoom calls, I've been saying price may hit this level or come down a little lower. But as you can see, low volume accumulation, and then we created a bottom and had this push up here up to 70 cents. So now what's going to happen next? Well, based off how these candles look, if we get enough volume, we're looking to just continue up to the $1 point like we hit a few months back during the initial news of XRP winning its lawsuit against the SEC, or the one initial part of it at least. We had that massive move for over 100% that day. We have another move like that coming, and it's developing here. If we are to apply the same price action here to here, we can see that $1 looks like it's going to be broken. It's on the books. Beyond that point, we have $1.20 and $1.35 coming up. We have a lot of areas that need to be broken first for XRP to really get going, but there's a lot of space that it's going to fill. But overall, we're still targeting the all-time high at $3.20, and from there, targeting a new all-time high at $5 and around the $5.50 point, as well as the $7 price point. This is going to take some time to play out, probably a couple years, next year or two, we may see that. But it is not unrealistic, as here we can go back, copy the same exact price action, and if we get some type of similar bull market or some type of similar bullish price action from that point to this point, we can see a new all-time high being made. And this does not look unrealistic to me. This looks very, very doable, especially in this upcoming year. When I first got into cryptocurrency back in 2017 in November, things were popping off like this left and right. And in addition to that, I was part of the people bandwagoning, hopping in onto these altcoins that just absolutely pumped. So it can happen, it will happen. You have to be positioned for it to happen, and you have to trust in what you're seeing. You know, that's how you position yourself to be a winner. You have to take the risk. You have to trust what you see, and you have to go against what everyone else is doing. Not necessarily going against the flow to be wrong, but you have to go against what the general crowd is thinking and doing. And if most people are saying, "Oh, don't buy crypto and stuff," then they may be wrong. And if a whole bunch of people are saying to buy it when it's very high, they're probably wrong too. But on Crypto.com, Cronus, that's the native coin, Cronus. If we look at this particular coin, we can see that we had a strong rally since the start of this month of 111% as of yesterday, and at current price we are at around 70% return on investment. We can see from the lows this year, which was last month, which is at 4.87 cents. It's extremely low. From that point we have rallied all the way up to 11 cents, and current price point is at 10 cents. I am currently seeing a slight pullback. We hit our first major key area at 10 cents here. I have been watching this pair since June, and that's when I first started to give the buy signal as well to start accumulating. And as you can see, when you go to the weekly time frame, the last few weeks have just been low volume and accumulation essentially. So now after this point, we are looking for price to have a small pullback. We want it to pull back. We want to be able to accumulate at a lower price, because this is going to keep on going. There's a lot more for price to head and to move up to for this particular coin, especially when its all-time high was at 98 cents, almost $1. We are heavily undervalued at 10 cents, even though we had a strong bullish momentum these last couple days and week. We're still undervalued in the grand scheme of things. So we're looking for a pullback, maybe to the 6 cent point, 7 cent point. Oh, that'd be fantastic. And then we could swoop that up and ride it all the way up to our next area. 15 cents, 25 cents, the major key area next. So that'd be 250% return on investment from that price point up to there. From here to there. Oh, actually a little more, but yeah, that's what we're looking for. We want to be able to buy a little bit lower. We don't want to buy at the peak of this push yet. Well, not yet. You don't want to at all. But there are times you can accumulate while price is high, relatively high, as price is pushing, and then it creates a new all-time high, or high at that point in time, and you can get out profitably as your price was good at that moment. Now let's take a look at, we'll stay on the daily time frame. You can see it hit this major area of supply here at 12 cents and is having a pullback, as we should see, especially after some type of strong movement, as we did see with Crow so far this past week. Yeah, we see this area of resistance price broke out from right here, and yeah, I really do see this area right here and here getting tested. Yeah, overall we may see a pullback on Crow and still targeting 25 cents, and overall our previous all-time high at 98 cents. We are some ways off from that, and it may take some time, but it is still on the cards, and I do believe price will eventually fill its previous all-time high and beyond. And if you're unfamiliar with what Cronus is, it is Crypto.com's native coin. As of right now, holding Crow does not reduce any of your trading fees. However, I think that may be something that they may offer in the future. But essentially, with native exchange tokens, the better the exchange does, the more users are on board, so more users that are holding the token, the more users that are on the platform trading, the price of that asset goes up. It increases significantly. And a good example of this would be Binance Coin, BNB. Since the inception of BNB, price has absolutely skyrocketed, and I can pull up a chart of that. But BNB on Binance, can save you on trading fees essentially, and price has only gone higher and higher because they have a coin burn, which is deflationary measure, and a lot of users hold the token. And I see the same things for Crypto.com happening. As they onboard more and more users, they have a high circulating supply, they may start to burn tokens, and then from there we may have a similar instance with Binance. The Binance coin may have a strong return on investment, and price may far exceed this previous all-time high, 98 cents. Just may take some time, may take a few years, but Crypto.com has been in the space for a long time. They rebranded. They were previously Monaco. They rebranded and bought the domain name of Crypto.com. And if you follow any sports, they are, one of the biggest sponsors in MMA, in the UFC, and even have an arena named after them in Miami. So I do see a long-term positive outlook for Crypto.com and their native coin, Crow. It's just going to take some time. But if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Looking forward to this exciting trading week. If you're not already following me on Instagram, follow me at B.A.T Signals, at Build a Trader. Those are my only 2 accounts. And don't forget to join the B.A.T Signals free Telegram channel. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend and a great week. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.